Hello everyone, welcome to Diagnose It. Today we have this case of a 55-year-old diabetic male who presented with ulcers in the oral cavity, fever and pain on speaking. And there is this history of clozapine intake from 1 month for the treatment of schizophrenia. Well, firstly, by this history, we can say that there may be some kind of infection in the mouth of the patient and these ulcers are there. But after the history of this clozapine intake from 1 month, well, we can make out a diagnosis of this agranulocytosis because this clozapine has a side effect, that is agranulocytosis, that makes the patient prone for development of some kind of infections, and those infections then further leads to development of these kind of oral lesions or any kind of infection, or sometimes even development of sepsis in the patient. So by all this, the diagnosis of the patient is this clozapine induced agranulocytosis. Well, in this disease also we'll follow a regular way of discussion. Firstly, we'll discuss about what is this, why it occurs, how it presents, how to diagnose it, and in the end about the treatment. Firstly, starting with our what. Firstly, about this clozapine. Well, this is an atypical antipsychotic drug and it is quite efficacious drug because it is used in the treatment of resistant schizophrenia. That is, in the schizophrenia we have already tried typical antipsychotics, then we have again tried any other atypical antipsychotic drug, and even after the use of these two drugs the schizophrenia is not responding. Now this agranulocytosis, this basically means decrease in the neutrophil count. Well, decrease in the neutrophil count to less than 500 per microliter or less than 0.5 into 10 to the power 9 per liter. Well, this is the absolute value, and the level below this is called as agranulocytosis. In later stages, other lineages are also decreased, like RBC can also be decreased, but that can be due to the development of sepsis. Now we know what is this clozapine induced agranulocytosis. Now let's come to why this disease occurs. And in the why, firstly let's discuss about the risk factors. And in the risk factor, it is more common in females, and the prevalence increases with increasing age. And there are these HLA markers like this HLA DQ B1 0302, this HLA DR B10402. These are the HLA markers, and when these are present, the risk of this development of agranulocytosis increases. Well, this is an idiosyncratic reaction and it is dose independent. Now let's come to the exact pathogenesis, like why this disease is occurring. Well, this clozapine, this gets metabolized to a compound that is called as N-desmethylclozapine, and another compound, this nitrinium ion. These two compounds are basically toxic for this colony forming units and other progenitor cells, and these colony forming units are basically for this monocyte and granulocyte lineage or erythroid lineage. So these are toxic for these. So that is why when the colony forming units are damaged, then the production of these granulocytes and these erythroid cells are decreased. So that is why this leads to development of agranulocytosis. And one more thing, this N-desmethylclozapine, for development of these molecules, the dosing that is required is around 4 to 5 times of the normal dose that we use. Then these nitrinium ions can develop at a normal dosing, like the dose that we use for the patients in schizophrenia. There are some other mechanism for development of it, like this clozapine, due to these ions. These basically leads to alteration in the membrane of a granulocyte, and when the membrane is altered, some different kind of molecules are expressed over the membrane, and those molecules basically act as a neoantigen. And those neoantigens, basically for those neoantigens antibodies are formed, and when antibodies are formed, then they lead to destruction of the granulocytes. So when the granulocytes are destroyed, then this also leads to development of agranulocytosis. Well, there is no one hypothesis that correctly explains the development of agranulocytosis, but yeah, a combination of these all four or five mechanisms can explain this development of clozapine induced agranulocytosis. Well, one more interesting thing about this is that why these nitrinium ions are developing and why they are destroying only granulocytes. Because the enzyme that is needed for development of this nitrinium ion from this clozapine, the enzyme is myeloperoxidase, and that enzyme is quite specific for this granulocytes and other this myeloid series of cells. So that is why the myeloid series is affected more. Now let's come to the presentation part, like how the patient, what are the symptoms by which the patient would be presenting to us. In the presentation, well, the patient usually most of the time presents with some kind of infection, because due to agranulocytosis and decrease in neutrophil count, the patient is more prone for development of infections. And the most common infections by which the patient present are these oral ulcers and the presence of this fever and sometimes sore throat. And in the later stages, patient can also present with this septicemia. And when the septicemia developed, as I have already told you, that due to septicemia, the erythroid and this platelet lineage, these platelets are also decreased. But yeah, sometimes patient can be asymptomatic also. Now let's come to the diagnosis part. Well, for the diagnosis, the thing that we need is this lab investigation. And in the lab investigation, what we find is this absolute neutrophil count of the patient. This is decreased, and when this is below this 0.5 into 10 to the power 9 per liter, then this is called as this agranulocytosis, this neutropenia. The other investigations that we can go for are this complete blood picture. And in the CBC, the thing that we can find is decrease in hemoglobin, decrease in platelet counts. The other investigation that we go for is this bone marrow biopsy. This bone marrow biopsy is not used for the diagnosis purpose, but the findings are decrease in the progenitor cells. As we have already discussed, the progenitor cells are damaged that leads to development of this agranulocytosis. So in the biopsy also, we can see this decrease in the progenitor cells. Now let's come to the management part. Well, this disease should be prevented. And for prevention, there should be monitoring of this absolute neutrophil count and this complete blood count of the patient. And the monitoring should be like weekly for around 6 months, then fortnightly for around next 6 months, and after that monthly till the treatment lasts. Because in most of the cases, this agranulocytosis is seen even within the first month. So in the starting of the treatment, this monitoring should be more frequent. And after that, the time for monitoring can be increased. And after that, when this agranulocytosis developed, when the neutrophil count of the patient is less than 0.5 into 10 to the power 9 per liter, then the first thing is we need to transfer the patient to a safe facility where the air is clean and the risk of development of infection is less. So a clean room should be needed for the management of the patient. And the drugs that we try are the stimulating factors, like this granulocyte monocyte stimulating factors, this filgrastim, this sargramostim, this linograstim. Well, these are the drugs that are tried, and if the patient become febrile or any other sign of infection develops during this treatment, then antibiotics should be started along with it. There are some other preventive measures for the disease, like any other drug that is causing this agranulocytosis, this like valproate, carbamazepine. These drugs should be avoided along with this clozapine. So this was all about this clozapine-induced agranulocytosis. If you have any question regarding this disease, then you can post it in the comment section below, or you can DM me on my Instagram handle at diagnoseIt. And don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.